One of the most common requests mechanics and shops get is for lower gear ratios because, let's face it, even on the loveliest days, riding uphill can be a bit unpleasant, so having a few more gears in your arsenal can help. Now, Sugino, one of the oldest bike brands out there, may have just gone some way into making this upgrade that little bit easier to do. Let me explain. Reducing the gear ratio on your bike is basic mechanics. You either put a bigger cassette on the back or smaller chain rings on the front. It's as simple as that. The trouble is, there are limitations as to how far we can go with this stuff. A group set has something called capacity. The rear derailleur has a maximum cassette size it can handle. We all know this. But also, it has a maximum inner and outer sprocket size it can handle. And there's also something called total capacity, but let's not confuse the issue. Let's take this bike for example. It has a standard rear derailleur that can handle up to a size 30 cassette, which is what's on there now. But let's say we ignored the rules and shoved this massive thing in its place. Well, what would happen is when we started changing gear and getting up to those bigger sprockets, the derailleur would just grind into it and things would get very messy indeed. How about we just get rid of this derailleur and put on a bigger one that will handle our massive cassette? Yeah, we could do this. This particular one though is Ultegra Di2. If we shop around, it's going to cost us the thick end of 150 quid. And we still need to pay for our massive cassette. And because we're putting on a massive cassette, we're going to need a longer chain. So we're going to have to buy a new one of those too. Now, some of you might be yelling at your screen, John, this is a simple fix. You just need to use a wolf tooth hanger extender or something similar. And what this will do is it will bring the derailleur further down, which means it will clear the cassette. But depending on the size of cassette you fit, you may still need to put on a bigger chain. And if you're putting on a bigger chain, that means you need the derailleur with the longer arm to take up the slack. Additionally, some people have reported that the shifting quality is reduced when using something like this. I personally don't have an opinion on it because I've never used one. I think they're a bit bubblegum and string. And also, they don't look very good, do they? Tell you what, how about we just replace the chain set for the smaller compact version? That will give us this smaller chain ring that we want and reduce gear ratio. The trouble is, that also means we've got a smaller, large chain ring, which means overall, the bike's going to be slower, especially on descents. And who wants that? I know I wouldn't. I tell you what, let's beat the system. Let's take off that 36th tooth inner chain ring and replace it with this one, a 34. That means we've got an inner of 34 and an outer of 52. Gives us the best of both worlds. And this upgrade is going to only have cost us 15 quid. What could possibly go wrong? It's a genius idea. Well, as some of you may have predicted, and maybe myself, my genius plan, well, it hasn't really gone according to plan. We've got a bit of slack. So, what's gone wrong? As standard, both this and many other Shimano derailleurs within the Shimano road range have a capacity of 16. And what does that mean in English? Well, remember that number 16. Right. 52 teeth minus 36 teeth equals 16 teeth within capacity. 52 teeth minus 34 teeth leaves us 18 teeth out of capacity. And this is where the very clever capacity booster jockey wheels from Sygino come into play. And who is Sugino, some of you may say? Well, they're based just outside Osaka in Japan and have been making high-end drivetrain components for bikes for well over 100 years. Here's a picture of my old Rally Record Sprint, complete with its gold anodized Sugino chainset. Now, Sugino didn't send me these directly, they came via Dolan. You know, you've probably seen their gravel bike on my channel quite a lot. I'm a big fan of their brand. The likes of Chris Hoyt and Bradley Wiggins have ridden Dolan and gold medals have been won. Right, let's get these on the bike and I'll show you how they work. So there you go, all done and fitted. Simple, they're just like changing normal jockey wheels, to be honest with you. Apart from the pulley ones, got this tiny, really thin washer that you have to use, which I subsequently then dropped on the floor and it was in the mat somewhere. I was crawling around for half an hour with a magnet trying to find it. But apart from that, yeah, they're simple. So these jockey wheels have got an eccentric offset design, which increases the chainset capacity of the derailleur, in this case, from 16 to 18. And that is why, once we put these jockey wheels on, we saw that slack that was there previously pretty much completely disappear. Now, if you have a long cage, you can expect that capacity to go from 16 to 19. And yes, they do both 11 and 12 speed versions of these jockey wheels. So just to demonstrate, the chain is nice and tight, no slack in the bottom. Let's try the shifting. Shifting seems to be absolutely perfect to me. No problems at all. Appreciated this is just on the maintenance stand, but yeah, feels absolutely fine. As I say, appreciate this is purely on the maintenance stand, and out on the road in the real world might feel different, but right now, to be honest with you, it feels exactly the same. I will get it out on the road and we'll test it over the next few weeks when the weather dries up. I don't want to take my summer bike out in all this horrible weather. When the weather dries up, I'll get it out on the road and I'll stick some comments down below and I'll pin that to the top to let you know how I'm getting on with it. But the jockey wheels, I can't imagine it's going to be much of a problem. As well as the advantages we've already seen, the use of ceramic bearings, a hardened S3 coating and an oversized pulley, Sugino is claiming that the use of these jockey wheels will also increase drivetrain efficiency. Now, regular viewers of my channel will know I don't really buy into the whole ceramic bearing, oversized pulley wheel thing, but you know what, I can neither confirm it nor disprove it. So I give you that information and you do with it what you will. Sorry, what? What? The price? There's a good question. Right, well, as these haven't actually hit the shelves in anger yet, that's not that easy to answer. What I can do is I could tell you the manufacturer's recommended retail price in yen, but speaking from experience, that rarely bears any resemblance to the price we actually end up paying at the till. But the RRP is high. It's roughly £200. So what do I think of the Sygino capacity booster jockey wheel system? Well, in this bike, with its larger chain set and its smaller, expensive derailleur, it has done what it's designed to do and reduce the gear ratio. But it's the older group sets that didn't have the capacity in the first place where I feel a product like this could add the most value. This is only compatible with the last two iterations of Shimano, and those versions are the higher end road versions. Stuff like Tigra and Sora don't even get a look in. The vast majority of Shimano equipped road bikes on sale today come with the compact 50-34 chainset and a rear derailleur that will go anything from 34 right up to a 37 tooth cassette. So, taking all of that into consideration, is there a need for even lower gears on today's modern Shimano equipped bikes? There is no doubt what Sugino has done here is brilliant, and as always from those guys, it's fantastic engineering. They have done something that many other bike brands constantly claim to do but very rarely achieve. They have got something that's already good and they've made it better, but it's only compatible with group sets that, if we're honest, probably don't need more gears. I suspect what's happened here is they've been so busy trying to work out if they could do it, they didn't actually stop and ask themselves if they should. Thanks for watching.